Listen carefully. If you don't control your morning, your life will control you. Every weak decision you make, every excuse you repeat, every time you hit snooze, you are training yourself to fail. Discipline is not built in motivation, it is built in the first hour after you wake up. And right now, your mornings are either building you or destroying you. This audiobook will reprogram how you start your day so you become someone who cannot be broken, cannot be distracted, and cannot be stopped. Let's begin. Listen carefully. The first 10 minutes after you wake up decide everything. Not your talent, not your goals, not your intentions. Your first 10 minutes. Because in those 10 minutes, you are not just waking up, you are voting for the person you are becoming. Most people lose their day before it even begins. They wake up, they hesitate, they reach for their phone, they scroll, they delay, they negotiate. And in that moment, they have already lost. Understand this. Listen carefully. The first 10 minutes after you wake up decide everything. Not your talent, not your goals, not your intentions. Your first 10 minutes. Because in those 10 minutes, you are not just waking up, you are voting for the person you are becoming. Most people lose their day before it even begins. They wake up, they hesitate, they reach for their phone, they scroll, they delay, they negotiate. And in that moment, they have already lost. Understand this. The brain is at its weakest and most programmable right after waking up. Whatever you do first becomes your standard. If you choose comfort, you train weakness. If you choose action, you build power. This is not motivation. This is conditioning. Every single morning, you are either training discipline or training excuses. There is no neutral. Look at your current mornings. Be honest. Do you jump out of bed with intention, or do you lie there negotiating with yourself? Just 5 more minutes. Let me check my phone. I'll start later. No, you won't, because later is where weak decisions live. The moment you hit snooze, you send a message to your mind. My words mean nothing. And once your mind stops trusting you, discipline becomes impossible. High performers don't wake up differently, they decide differently. They don't feel more motivated, they are simply more obedient to their own commands. When the alarm rings, there is no emotion, no thinking, no debate, just action. This is the rule. The faster you move, the stronger you become. Because hesitation is weakness and speed is authority. The first 10 minutes are not about productivity. They are about control. Control over your body, control over your mind, control over your decisions. If you can't control yourself for 10 minutes, you won't control yourself for 10 hours. So here's what you must do. Starting tomorrow morning, the alarm rings, you get up immediately. No snooze, no delay, no second thought. You stand up, you move your body, you wake yourself up with action, not comfort. Even if you feel tired, even if you don't want to, especially when you don't want to. Because that's the moment that matters most. That's where discipline is built. Not when it's easy, but when everything inside you says, stay, and you say, no. You must become someone who acts instantly, because hesitation is the birthplace of excuses, and excuses destroy discipline. Repeat this. Win the morning, win your mind. Again, win the morning, win your mind. One more time. Win the morning, win your mind. This is not just a phrase. This is a rule, a law, a standard you live by. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. And your first habit of the day is the most important one. So ask yourself, what are you doing in your first 10 minutes? Are you building discipline or destroying it? Because the truth is simple. If you lose the first 10 minutes, you lose control. And when you lose control, you lose the day. So tomorrow morning, you don't think, you don't negotiate, you don't hesitate. You wake up and you move immediately. Because winners don't wait, they execute. Listen carefully. Your life is not falling apart because you lack talent. It's falling apart because you keep negotiating with yourself. Every morning, every task, every decision, there's a voice in your head that says, do it later, not now. You deserve a break, just this once. And instead of shutting it down, you listen. That is the problem. Discipline is not about doing hard things. It's about refusing to negotiate with weakness. Right now, you treat your goals like suggestions, not commands. And anything that is a suggestion will be ignored. Think about it. When your alarm rings, what happens? Do you act or do you start a conversation? Maybe I should get up, but I'm tired. Just 5 more minutes. Stop. That conversation is destroying your life. Because every time you negotiate, you give power to the weaker version of yourself. And here's the truth most people don't understand. The moment you start negotiating, you've already lost. Strong people don't think differently, they decide faster. They don't sit there debating. They don't entertain excuses. They don't allow weakness to speak twice. They hear the command and they move. You need to understand this clearly. There are 2 versions of you, the one that wants growth and the one that wants comfort. And every morning they go to war. Right now, comfort is winning, not because it's stronger, but because you keep listening to it. You give it time, you give it attention, you give it a voice. That ends now. From this moment forward, there is a new rule. No debate, just action. When it's time to wake up, you get up. When it's time to work, you work. When it's time to move, you move. Not when you feel like it, not when it's convenient, not when motivation shows up, immediately. Because discipline is built in the absence of emotion. You don't need to feel ready. You need to be obedient to your own commands. Say it. I don't negotiate with myself. Again, I don't negotiate with myself. Louder. I don't negotiate with myself. This is how you take your power back. Because every time you eliminate negotiation, you eliminate delay. And when you eliminate delay, you create momentum. Look at the most disciplined people in the world. They are not special. They are not superhuman. They have simply removed one thing: negotiation. They don't ask themselves, should I do this? They tell themselves, do this, and then they execute. That's it. No drama, no overthinking, no excuses, just action. Understand this. Hesitation is the doorway to failure. The longer you think, the weaker you become. So you must train speed. The moment a task appears, you move. Not later, not after thinking, not after checking your phone, immediately. Because the faster you act, the less power your excuses have. This is how you kill procrastination, not with motivation, but with immediate execution. From now on, you do not sit in bed thinking. You do not delay starting. You do not wait for the right moment. You act immediately. Because the person you want to become does not negotiate. He decides, and then he moves. So tomorrow morning, when that voice starts talking, when it tells you to wait, when it tells you to stay comfortable, you shut it down immediately. No response, no discussion, no second thought. You move. Because from this moment forward, you are not the person who hesitates. You are the person who executes. Say it one last time. No debate, just action. Now, live it. Listen carefully. The way you get out of bed is the way you approach your life. Slow, hesitant, half awake. Then your life will be slow, hesitant, and unfocused. But fast, decisive, immediate. Then your life becomes sharp, controlled, and powerful. Most people don't have a discipline problem. They have a movement problem. They wake up and they lie there, thinking, scrolling, delaying. And in that moment, they are teaching their body one thing: stay comfortable. But comfort is the birthplace of weakness. Understand this. The longer you stay in bed, the weaker your mind becomes. Because every second you delay, you are reinforcing hesitation. And hesitation destroys discipline. This is why you must change one thing: speed. The moment your alarm rings, you don't stretch, you don't think, you don't check anything. You move immediately. Because speed creates authority. When your body moves fast, your mind follows. But when your body stays still, your mind becomes lazy. That's why high performers don't ease into the day. They attack it. Athletes don't wake up slowly before competition. Soldiers don't roll over and scroll before action. They respond instantly because they are trained to move on command. And that's exactly what you must become: someone who moves without hesitation. Right now, you wait until you feel ready. That's why you stay stuck, because readiness is a lie. Action creates readiness. Movement creates energy, not the other way around. Say it. I move first, I feel later. Again, I move first, I feel later. This is the mindset that changes everything. You don't wait for energy, you create it. And you create it by moving your body immediately. Here's what happens when you act fast. You break the comfort cycle. You interrupt weakness. You take control before excuses can form. But when you stay in bed, even for a few minutes, your brain starts building resistance. It says, stay here, it's warm, you can start later. And once that voice gets stronger, getting up becomes harder. So you must beat it with speed. The alarm rings, and before your mind can speak, you are already standing. That is power. That is discipline. That is control. From now on, there's a new standard. You don't get out of bed, you launch out of bed with urgency, with intention, with force. Because the first physical action of your day sets the tone for everything that follows. If your first action is slow, everything becomes slow. If your first action is sharp, everything becomes sharp. So you must train this like a skill. Not once, not sometimes, every single day. Even when you're tired, even when you don't feel like it, even when your body is heavy. Especially then, because those are the moments that build real discipline. The easy mornings don't matter. The hard mornings do. That's where you prove who you are, not through words, not through intentions, but through action. Fast, immediate, unquestioned. Repeat this. Fast body, focused mind. Again, fast body, focused mind. One more time. Fast body, focused mind. This is your rule now. No more slow starts, no more hesitation, no more lying there thinking. The alarm rings and you move. Because from this moment forward, you are not the person who waits in bed. You are the person who gets up like your life depends on it. And the truth is, it does. Listen carefully. Your mornings are not random. They are rituals. And right now, your rituals are making you weak. You don't wake up and suddenly become distracted. You don't accidentally waste time. You don't randomly lose discipline. You follow a pattern, a routine, a set of behaviors you repeat every single morning without thinking. and those behaviors are destroying your control. Let's be honest. What's the first thing you do after waking up? Do you take control of your day? Or do you reach for your phone, scrolling, checking notifications, drowning your mind in noise before your day even begins? That is not harmless. That is mental pollution. Because the moment you open your phone, you lose focus, you lose clarity, you lose authority over your own mind. You start comparing, you start reacting, you start consuming instead of creating. And just like that, you are no longer in control. This is what weak mornings look like. You stay in bed too long. You scroll without purpose. You delay your first action. You chase comfort. And every one of these actions sends a message: I am not in control. Understand this. What you do repeatedly becomes who you are. If your mornings are weak, your identity becomes weak. So the goal is simple. Eliminate every ritual that makes you soft. Not reduce, not manage, eliminate. Because discipline cannot grow in an environment filled with distractions. You cannot build focus while feeding your mind garbage. From now on, there are rules. Rule number 1, no phone in the first hour. Not messages, not social media, not notifications, nothing. Because your mind in the morning is highly sensitive. Whatever you consume first shapes your thinking for the entire day. So instead of feeding it chaos, you feed it control. Rule number 2, no lying in bed after waking up. The bed is for sleep, not for scrolling, not for thinking, not for delaying. The moment you wake up, you leave immediately. Rule number 3, no comfort loops. No just a few more minutes. No I'll start after this. No let me relax first. Comfort is a trap, and every time you choose it, you reinforce weakness. Say it. Comfort is the enemy of control. Again, comfort is the enemy of control. You must start seeing comfort differently. It is not your reward, it is your distraction. And if you don't control it, it will control you. Look at your current habits. Be honest. How many times do you check your phone first thing, delay getting up, waste time before starting? That's not laziness, that's conditioning. You have trained yourself to start your day in a weak state. But the good news is this: anything trained can be retrained. Starting now, you replace weak rituals with strong ones. Instead of scrolling, you move. Instead of delaying, you act. Instead of consuming, you create. Because powerful mornings are intentional. They are controlled. They are designed. Not random, not reactive, not weak. You don't wake up and hope for discipline. You build an environment where discipline is the only option. This is how you take your power back. Not by trying harder, but by removing everything that makes you weaker. Repeat this. Protect the first hour. Again, protect the first hour. One more time. Protect the first hour. Because that first hour is where your identity is shaped. Win that hour, and the rest of your day follows. Lose it, and you spend the entire day trying to recover. So tomorrow morning, there is no phone, no delay, no comfort, only action, only control, only discipline. Because from this moment forward, you are not the person who starts the day weak. You are the person who eliminates weakness completely. Listen carefully. If you don't take control of your day will take control of you. Most people don't live intentionally. They live reactively. They wake up, check their phone, respond to messages, follow distractions, and before they realize it, the day is already deciding for them. That is not living. That is drifting. And drifting leads to failure. Because when you don't have a plan, you become part of someone else's plan. You react to everything. You chase everything. You finish nothing. Understand this. Chaos is the default. If you don't create structure, your life will become disorganized, distracted, and weak. That's why you must learn one skill. Attack the day before it attacks you. This means you don't wake up and figure things out. You already know what needs to be done. Clarity removes hesitation. Clarity kills procrastination. When you know exactly what to do, there is no thinking, only execution. But when you wake up without direction, your mind looks for the easiest path, and the easiest path is distraction, scrolling, avoiding, delaying. Because uncertainty creates resistance, and resistance leads to inaction. So you must eliminate uncertainty. Before you sleep, you decide your morning. Before the day begins, you define your mission. Because winners don't wake up confused. They wake up prepared. Here's the rule. Never start your day without a target. Not 10 targets, not vague ideas. One clear mission. The most important task that moves your life forward. That is what you attack first. Not emails, not messages, not distractions. Your mission. Because the first thing you do sets the direction of your entire day. If you start with distractions, your day becomes scattered. If you start with purpose, your day becomes powerful. Say it. Clarity kills procrastination. Again, clarity kills procrastination. This is your new standard. You don't wake up guessing. You wake up executing. And execution requires preparation. So every night you prepare your next day. You decide what time you wake up, what your first task is, what must be completed. No thinking required in the morning, because thinking leads to hesitation, and hesitation leads to delay, and delay destroys discipline. High performers don't rely on willpower. They rely on systems. A system removes choice. A system removes emotion. A system removes excuses. You don't ask yourself, what should I do today? You tell yourself, this is what gets done. And then you do it. That's power. That's control. That's discipline. Look at your current routine. Do you start your day with intention, or do you react to whatever shows up? Messages, notifications, other people's priorities. That's not productivity. That's surrender. You're giving your time away before you even use it, and once your time is gone, you can't get it back. So you must become aggressive with your focus. You must protect your time. You must decide your actions before the world decides them for you. From now on, your mornings have a purpose. You wake up and you attack your mission immediately. No distractions, no side tasks, no delays. Because once you complete your most important task, everything else becomes easier. Momentum builds, confidence grows, control strengthens. This is how you dominate your day. Not by doing more, but by doing what matters first. Repeat this. I attack my mission first. Again, I attack my mission first. One more time. I attack my mission first. This is your identity now. You are not reactive, you are proactive. You don't wait for the day to happen, you make it happen. So tomorrow morning, you don't check your phone, you don't wander, you don't hesitate. You wake up and you attack. Because from this moment forward, you are not the person who gets overwhelmed by the day. You are the person who takes control before the day even begins.
Listen carefully. Your biggest problem is not laziness. It is disobedience. Not to others, but to yourself. You give yourself instructions every day. Wake up, start working, focus, stop wasting time. But what happens? You ignore them. You delay them. You replace them with comfort. And every time you do that, You weaken your authority because your mind is always watching. It is learning one thing. Do your words matter or not? Right now, they don't. That's why you struggle with discipline. That's why you start things and don't finish. That's why you say you'll change and nothing happens, because your mind does not trust you. Understand this. Discipline is not about motivation. It is about command and obedience. You must become both, the one who gives the order and the one who follows it. No delay, no excuses, no negotiation, immediate obedience. Say it. I say it, I do it. Again, I say it, I do it. This is the foundation of self-discipline. If you cannot follow your own commands, you will never control your life, because life is built on actions, and actions come from decisions, and decisions only matter if they are executed. Right now, you make decisions, but you don't act on them. That's the gap, and that gap is where your potential dies. So you must close it. How? By training your mind like you would train a muscle, through repetition, through consistency, through enforcement. You start small. When you say, I will wake up at this time, you wake up. When you say, I will start now, you start. No delay, no thinking, no emotion. Because the moment you hesitate, you break the command. And every broken command weakens your discipline, but every completed command strengthens it. This is how you rebuild trust with yourself, one action at a time, one command at a time, executed immediately. Think about a soldier. When given an order, do they sit there thinking? Do they debate? Do they wait until they feel like it? No, they act immediately. That's why they are disciplined. Not because they are special, but because they are trained to obey commands. And now you must train yourself the same way. From this moment forward, every instruction you give yourself is law. Not optional, not flexible, not negotiable. Law. If you say you will do it, you do it. If you don't, you are reinforcing weakness. There is no middle ground. You are either building discipline or destroying it. Every action matters. Every decision counts. So start paying attention. Catch yourself in the moment. When you say, I'll start in a minute, stop. Correct it. Say, now, and move immediately. Because discipline lives in the present, not in later, not in soon, not in after this. Now. Always now. Repeat this. I act on command. Again, I act on command. One more time. I act on command. This is your new identity. You are not someone who delays. You are not someone who hesitates. You are not someone who breaks promises to yourself. You are someone who acts immediately, consistently, relentlessly. Because once your mind learns that your words are final, everything changes. Focus becomes easier. Action becomes automatic. Discipline becomes natural. And the chaos inside you disappears. So tomorrow morning, at every moment after that, when you give yourself a command, you follow it, without question, without delay, without exception. Because from this moment forward, you are not the person who ignores your own voice. You are the person whose mind obeys every command.
Listen carefully. Discipline is not built in big moments. It is built in small actions, not in grand decisions, not in life-changing events, but in the simple things you do every single day. And one of the simplest is making your bed. Most people ignore this. They think it's pointless. They think it doesn't matter. But that's exactly why it matters. Because if you can't do something small, you won't do something big. If you avoid simple discipline, you will fail at complex discipline. Understand this. Your life is not controlled by major decisions. It is controlled by micro habits. Tiny actions repeated daily,
that shape your identity. And making your bed is one of the most powerful micro-habits you can build. Why? Because it's immediate, it's simple, and it's within your control. No excuses, no delays, no complications. You wake up and you do it. That's it. And in that moment, you send a message to your mind. I finish what I start. That message matters. Because right now, you are used to leaving things incomplete. You wake up and leave your bed messy. You start tasks and leave them unfinished. You make plans and don't follow through. That pattern is destroying your discipline. But this is where you break it, with something small, something simple, something repeatable. Making your bed is not about the bed. It's about who you become when you do it. You become someone who takes action immediately, completes what they start, respects order and control, and that identity spreads into everything else. Because success is not one big action, it's a series of small wins, and this is your first win of the day. Say it. Small wins, unstoppable momentum. Again, small wins, unstoppable momentum. Momentum is everything. When you start your day with a win, you feel in control, you feel focused, you feel ready. But when you start your day with inaction, you feel lazy, you feel behind, you feel weak. So you must win early. And making your bed is the easiest place to start. No thinking required, no motivation needed, just action. Immediately after you get up, you make your bed. No skipping, no excuses, no exceptions. Because consistency is what builds discipline, not intensity, not motivation, consistency. Every single day, even when you don't feel like it, even when it seems pointless, even when no one is watching, especially then. Because discipline is not for others, it is for you. It is proof that you are in control, and control starts with small actions. Look at your habits. Do you complete small tasks? Or do you ignore them? Because how you handle the small things is how you handle everything. Messy bed, messy mind. Ordered bed, ordered life. It starts there. From now on, there is a new standard. You don't leave things unfinished. You complete them fully, immediately, consistently. And it begins with your bed. Every morning, you wake up, you stand up, and you make your bed. No delay, no thinking, no excuses. Because this is not about cleaning, this is about discipline. This is about building a mind that finishes what it starts. Repeat this. I finish what I start. Again, I finish what I start. One more time. I finish what I start. This is your identity now. You are not careless. You are not inconsistent. You are not lazy. You are precise. You are controlled. You are disciplined. And it shows in the smallest actions. So tomorrow morning, before anything else, you make your bed. Because from this moment forward, you are not the person who ignores the small things. You are the person who masters them.
Listen carefully. Your problem is not that life is hard. Your problem is that you are addicted to comfort. You avoid anything that feels uncomfortable. You delay anything that feels difficult. You escape anything that requires effort. And because of that, you stay the same. Understand this. Growth does not live in comfort. Discipline does not live in comfort. Power does not live in comfort. They live in discomfort. And the longer you avoid discomfort, the weaker you become. Because every time you choose comfort, you train your mind to escape. You tell yourself, this is too hard. I'll do it later. I don't feel like it. And your mind listens. It learns, avoid pain, stay safe, stay comfortable. That is the mindset of weakness. But discipline requires the opposite. It requires you to move toward discomfort, not away from it, especially in the morning. Because the way you face discomfort early determines how you handle challenges later.
If you run from difficulty in the morning, you will run from difficulty all day. But if you face it immediately, you build strength that lasts. This is why you must do something hard as soon as you wake up, not later, not after you feel ready, immediately. Because discomfort is not your enemy, it is your training ground. Cold water, early movement, silence, focus. These are not punishments, they are tools. Tools that sharpen your mind, tools that strengthen your discipline. Think about it. When you step into cold water, your body resists, your mind screams, everything inside you says, "Get out." But if you stay, if you endure, if you control your reaction, you win. Not physically, mentally. You prove to yourself, "I can handle discomfort." And that belief changes everything. Because once your mind learns that discomfort is not dangerous, it stops avoiding it. And when you stop avoiding discomfort, you start growing. This is the shift from avoiding pain to embracing it, from running to confronting, from weakness to strength. Say it. Do hard things first. Again, do hard things first. This becomes your rule. You don't delay discomfort. You don't schedule it later. You don't wait until you feel ready. You attack it immediately. Because the longer you wait, the bigger it becomes, the harder it feels, the more resistance you build. But when you face it early, you remove its power. You break its control over you. This is how you build mental toughness, not by avoiding difficulty, but by choosing it every single day, even in small ways. Wake up early when you don't want to. Move your body when you feel tired. Focus when your mind wants distraction. These are your battles, and every time you win one, you become stronger. But every time you avoid one, you become weaker. There is no neutral. You are either building strength or building excuses, so choose wisely. From now on, discomfort is your signal. When something feels hard, that's where you go. When something feels uncomfortable, that's what you do, because that's where growth is. Repeat this. Discomfort is my training. Again, discomfort is my training. One more time. Discomfort is my training. This is your mindset now. You don't chase comfort. You chase growth. You don't avoid difficulty. You confront it immediately. Because the person you want to become is built through discomfort. Not ease, not shortcuts, not convenience. Discomfort. So tomorrow morning, when you feel resistance, when your body says stay, when your mind says later, you move toward it. You choose the harder option. You step into discomfort without hesitation. Because from this moment forward, you are not the person who avoids pain. You are the person who uses it to become stronger.
Listen carefully. Your mind in the morning is vulnerable, not weak, but open. Whatever enters your mind in the first hour shapes your thinking for the entire day. And right now, you are filling it with noise. The moment you wake up, you grab your phone. Notifications, messages, social media, endless information, and before you even think for yourself, you are reacting to the world. That is the problem. You are starting your day in reaction mode, not control, not clarity, not focus, reaction. And once your mind enters that state, it's hard to escape, because your attention is pulled in every direction. Comparison, anxiety, distraction, all injected into your mind before your day even begins. Understand this. What controls your attention controls your life. And right now, your attention is under attack, not by accident, but by design.
Apps are built to capture you. Notifications are designed to interrupt you. Content is created to keep you scrolling. And every second you give in, you lose control. You lose focus. You lose clarity. You lose discipline. Because discipline requires attention, and attention cannot exist in a distracted mind. So you must protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. From now on, there is a rule. Protect the first hour. No phone, no social media, no external noise, nothing that pulls your attention away from yourself. Because the first hour belongs to you, not to the world. This is where you build your mindset. This is where you set your focus. This is where you take control. If you give this hour away, you give your day away. It's that simple. Look at your current habit. You wake up and immediately check your phone. Why? Out of habit, out of boredom, out of conditioning. Not because it helps you. It doesn't. It weakens you. Because instead of creating your thoughts, you consume someone else's. Instead of directing your day, you react to someone else's priorities. That is not control. That is surrender. And discipline cannot exist in a surrendered mind. So you must take your power back. You must reclaim your mornings. You must create silence. Because in silence, you think clearly. You focus deeply. You act intentionally. But in noise, you scatter. You react. You lose direction. So eliminate the noise, at least for the first hour. That hour is sacred. It is where your identity is built. Strong or weak, focused or distracted, disciplined or reactive. The choice is yours. Say it. Protect the first hour. Again, protect the first hour. One more time. Protect the first hour. This is your new standard. You wake up and you don't reach for your phone. You don't check notifications. You don't scroll. You don't consume. You stay in control. You focus on your actions, your thoughts, your mission. Because once your mind is set, nothing can easily break it. But if your mind is scattered, everything can control it. So choose control, choose focus, choose discipline. From now on, you decide what enters your mind. Not the world, not your phone, not distractions. You. Because the strongest people are not the busiest, they are the most focused. And focus begins with protecting your attention, especially in the morning. So tomorrow and every day after that, you wake up and you guard your mind. You protect your focus. You eliminate distractions. Because from this moment forward, you are not the person who starts the day reacting. You are the person who starts the day in complete control.
Listen carefully. Discipline is not built on motivation. It is built on systems. Motivation is unstable. It comes and goes. Some days you feel strong. Some days you feel nothing. And if your actions depend on how you feel, you will always be inconsistent. But a system removes feeling from the equation. A system tells you what to do without asking how you feel about it. That is power. Right now, you don't have a system. You have random mornings. Some days you wake up early. Some days you don't. Some days you're focused. Some days you're distracted. That's not discipline. That's chaos. And chaos creates inconsistency. Inconsistency destroys progress. So you must replace randomness with structure. You must build a non-negotiable morning system. Not optional, not flexible, not based on mood. Non-negotiable. This means every morning follows the same pattern, the same wake-up time, the same actions, the same sequence. No thinking required, because thinking leads to hesitation, and hesitation leads to failure. A system eliminates hesitation. You wake up
and you follow the script, step by step. No decisions, no debates, no excuses, just execution. Say it. Routine creates power. Again, routine creates power. This is your foundation, because when your mornings are controlled, your life becomes controlled. Now understand this. A system is not complicated. You don't need 20 steps. You don't need perfection. You need consistency. Simple, repeatable, effective. Here's what your system must include. A fixed wake-up time. You don't wake up whenever. You wake up at the same time every single day. Because inconsistency in waking creates inconsistency in thinking. Next, immediate movement. No lying in bed, no delay. You get up and you move. Then, a controlled action. Make your bed, wash your face, move your body. Something that signals, I am in control. Then, your first mission, the most important task of your day. You start it immediately, before distractions, before noise, before the world interrupts you. This is your system. Simple, clear, repeatable. But here's the key. You follow it no matter what. No excuses, no exceptions, no adjustments based on mood. Because the moment you make it optional, it stops working. That's why it must be non-negotiable. You don't ask, do I feel like it? You say, this is what I do. And then you do it. Every day, even when you're tired, even when you don't feel motivated, even when it's inconvenient, especially then, because discipline is proven when it's hard, not when it's easy. Look at your current routine. Is it structured or random? Do you follow a system or do you rely on how you feel? Because how you start your day is how you build your life, and a life without structure leads to failure. So you must commit, not sometimes, not when you feel like it, every single day. Repeat this. I follow my system no matter what. Again, I follow my system no matter what. One more time. I follow my system no matter what. This is your identity now. You are not inconsistent. You are not emotional. You are not random. You are structured. You are disciplined. You are in control. And your system proves it. So tomorrow morning, there is no thinking. You wake up and you execute your system, step by step. Because from this moment forward, you are not the person who hopes for a productive day. You are the person who guarantees it. Listen carefully. You are not stuck because you lack ability. You are stuck because you are waiting to feel ready. You keep telling yourself, I'll start when I feel motivated. I'll do it when I'm in the right mindset. I just need the right energy. No, you don't need the right feeling. You need the right action. Because readiness is a lie. It doesn't come before action. It comes after action. But most people get this backwards. They sit, they wait, they think, they prepare, and they never begin, because they are chasing a feeling that never arrives. Understand this. You will not feel ready. Not consistently, not perfectly, not when it matters most. And if you keep waiting, you will keep delaying your life. Every goal you have is on the other side of action. Not emotion, not motivation, action. But action requires one thing: movement without permission from your feelings. Right now, your feelings are in control. If you feel tired, you stop. If you feel distracted, you delay. If you feel unmotivated, you quit. That is weakness, because feelings change constantly. They are unstable, unpredictable, unreliable. And if your life depends on them, your life will be inconsistent. Strong people don't eliminate feelings, they ignore their authority. They feel tired and act anyway. They feel resistance and move anyway. They feel unready and start anyway. That is discipline. Say it. Move first, feel later. Again, move first, feel later. This is the rule that changes everything. You don't wait for confidence, you build confidence through action. You don't wait for clarity, you create clarity by starting. You don't wait for motivation, you generate it by moving. Everything you are waiting for is waiting for you to begin. But you won't begin if you keep asking yourself, do I feel ready? That question must disappear. Replace it with this: what needs to be done? And then do it, immediately. Because the longer you wait, the stronger resistance becomes. Your mind starts creating excuses. It's not the right time. I'm not prepared. I'll do it later. Stop. Later is where dreams die. Later is where discipline disappears. Later is where your potential is wasted. You must act in the present, now. Always now. Because action kills hesitation. Action kills doubt. Action kills fear. But waiting feeds them. Look at your life. How many things have you delayed because you didn't feel ready? Opportunities missed, plans postponed, goals abandoned. Not because you couldn't do them, but because you waited too long to start. That ends now. From this moment forward, you stop asking how you feel. You start asking what must be done. And then you do it, immediately. Even if it's messy, even if it's imperfect, even if it's uncomfortable. Because imperfect action is always better than perfect delay. Say it. I don't wait, I act. Again, I don't wait, I act. One more time. I don't wait, I act. This is your new identity. You are not someone who hesitates. You are not someone who delays. You are not someone who waits for the right moment. You are someone who creates the moment by taking action. Because the truth is simple. You will never feel fully ready, but you can always begin. So tomorrow morning and every moment after that, when you feel resistance, when you feel doubt, when you feel unprepared, you move, without permission, without hesitation, without waiting. Because from this moment forward, you are not the person who waits to feel ready. You are the person who starts anyway.
Listen carefully. There is a voice in your head, and it is controlling your life. Not your circumstances, not your environment. That voice. The way you speak to yourself determines the way you act, and the way you act determines the life you live. Right now, that voice is weak. It doubts. It hesitates. It makes excuses. It says, I'm tired. I'll do it later. This is too hard. I'm not ready. And instead of challenging it, you believe it. That is the problem. Because your mind listens to what you repeat. If you repeat weakness, you become weak. If you repeat excuses, you create inaction. If you repeat doubt, you destroy confidence. Your inner dialogue is programming your behavior. So if you want to change your actions, you must change your words. Understand this. You are always talking to yourself. The question is, are you leading that conversation, or are you being controlled by it? Because there are two voices inside you. The voice of discipline and the voice of comfort. One tells you to act. The other tells you to wait. One pushes you forward. The other pulls you back. And every day, they compete for control. Right now, comfort is louder. Not because it's stronger, but because you keep listening to it. That ends now. From this moment forward, you take control of your inner dialogue. You stop listening to weakness. You stop entertaining excuses. You stop repeating doubt. And you replace it with commands. Clear, direct, non-negotiable. Instead of saying, "I don't feel like it," you say, "Do it." Instead of, "I'll start later," you say, "Now." Instead of, "This is hard," you say, "This is necessary." This is how you take control. Not by waiting for better thoughts, but by creating stronger ones. Say it. No excuses, only execution. Again, no excuses, only execution. Because your mind follows your language. If your language is weak, your actions will be weak. If your language is strong, your actions will be strong. This is not motivation. This is programming. You are rewriting the script that runs your life. So you must be intentional. Every thought matters. Every word matters. Every command matters. When a weak thought appears, you don't entertain it. You replace it immediately. When your mind says, "Stay in bed," you respond, "Get up." When it says, "Take a break," you respond, "Keep going." No discussion, no negotiation, no delay. Because the longer you entertain weak thoughts, the stronger they become. And the stronger they become, the harder it is to act. So you must cut them off early. Control the conversation. Direct the narrative. Command your mind. Because if you don't, it will control you. Look at your current thinking. Be honest. What do you tell yourself daily? Do your thoughts push you forward or hold you back? Because your inner dialogue is shaping your identity. Weak thoughts create a weak identity. Strong commands create a disciplined identity. And identity drives behavior. So if you want to change your behavior, you must take control of your thoughts. Starting now. Not tomorrow. Not later. Now. Repeat this. I control my thoughts. Again. I control my thoughts. One more time. I control my thoughts. This is your power. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who directs them. And once you understand that, everything changes. Focus becomes easier. Action becomes faster. Discipline becomes natural. Because your mind is no longer working against you. It is working for you. So tomorrow morning, and every moment after that, you listen carefully to what you say to yourself. And you correct it when it's weak. Immediately. Because from this moment forward, you are not the person controlled by your inner voice. You are the person who controls it.
Listen carefully. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your identity. Right now, you are trying to be disciplined. That's the problem. Because trying is temporary. Trying is inconsistent. Trying depends on mood. And anything that depends on mood will fail. Discipline is not something you try. It is something you become. It must be part of your identity, not an action you force, but a standard you live by. Because identity controls behavior. If you see yourself as someone who is inconsistent, you will act inconsistently. If you see yourself as someone who procrastinates, you will delay. If you see yourself as someone who lacks discipline, you will continue proving it. Your actions always match your identity. So if you want to change your actions, you must change who you believe you are. Not temporarily, not occasionally, permanently. From this moment forward, you stop saying, "I'm trying to be disciplined." You start saying, "I am disciplined." Say it. I am disciplined. Again, I am disciplined. This is not motivation. This is a decision about who you are. Because once you define your identity, your behavior follows. A disciplined person doesn't ask, "Should I wake up early?" They wake up. A disciplined person doesn't ask, "Do I feel like working?" They work. Because that's who they are. There is no debate, no hesitation, no negotiation. Identity removes choice, and when choice is removed, excuses disappear. Think about it. If you see yourself as someone who never skips workouts, skipping is not an option. If you see yourself as someone who finishes what they start, quitting is not an option, because it doesn't match who you are. That's the power of identity. It makes discipline automatic. But right now, your identity is working against you. You tell yourself, "I'm lazy, I lack focus, I'm not consistent," and then you act accordingly. You are reinforcing weakness with your own words. That ends now. From this moment forward, you choose a new identity. Clear, strong, unbreakable. You are disciplined. You are focused. You are consistent. Not sometimes, not when you feel like it, always. Because identity is not conditional. It doesn't change based on how you feel. It doesn't adjust based on your mood. It is fixed, and your actions must match it every single day. Even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it, even when no one is watching. Especially then, because that's when identity is tested. Anyone can act disciplined when it's easy, but real discipline shows when it's difficult. That's where you prove who you are, not to others, but to yourself. Every action is a vote for the person you are becoming. So every time you act with discipline, you reinforce your identity. And every time you don't, you weaken it. So you must be consistent, not perfect, but consistent, because identity is built through repetition, action after action, day after day, until it becomes natural, until it becomes automatic, until it becomes you. Say it. This is who I am. Again, this is who I am. One more time. This is who I am. You don't need motivation anymore because you are not forcing discipline. You are living it. It is part of you. It defines you. It drives you. And once that happens, everything changes. You don't struggle to act. You don't hesitate. You don't delay because your identity demands action. So tomorrow morning and every moment after that, you don't ask what you feel like doing. You act like the person you have decided to become. Because from this moment forward, you are not someone trying to build discipline. You are someone who already has it.
Listen carefully. Discipline is not built in one day. It is built in repetition. Not once, not sometimes, every single day. Because one action means nothing. Two actions still mean nothing, but repeated actions change everything. This is where most people fail. They start strong, they feel motivated, they take action for a few days, and then they stop. They break the pattern, they lose momentum, they fall back into old habits. And then they say, discipline doesn't work. No, you didn't repeat it long enough.
Understand this. Your brain is wired for efficiency. It turns repeated actions into automatic behaviors. That's how habits are formed. That's how discipline becomes effortless, but only through repetition. Say it. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Again. Repeat, repeat, repeat. This is the process. You wake up early? Repeat. You move immediately? Repeat. You follow your system? Repeat. You eliminate distractions? Repeat. You embrace discomfort? Repeat. Day after day, week after week, until it becomes automatic, until you don't think about it, until you don't question it, until it becomes part of who you are. That's when discipline becomes powerful, because it no longer requires effort. It runs on autopilot. But you must earn that level through consistency, through persistence, through repetition. Right now, you rely on willpower. That's why you struggle, because willpower is limited. It fades, it weakens, it disappears under pressure. But habits are different. They don't rely on emotion. They don't depend on motivation. They run automatically. And that's what you're building, a system of automatic discipline, where you act without thinking, where you execute without hesitation, where you follow through without resistance. But this only happens if you repeat the behavior enough times. You cannot skip days. You cannot be inconsistent. You cannot start and stop, because every break in the pattern resets your progress. Every excuse reinforces weakness. Every delay pushes you backward. So you must protect your consistency no matter what. Even on bad days, even when you're tired, even when you don't feel like it, especially then, because those are the days that matter most. Anyone can be disciplined when it's easy, but repetition in difficulty builds real strength. Look at your current habits. Are you consistent, or are you starting and stopping? Because starting is easy, continuing is hard, and finishing requires discipline. So your focus must shift from intensity to consistency, from perfection to repetition. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to show up every day and execute again and again and again until it becomes automatic, until it becomes effortless, until it becomes you. Repeat this. Consistency creates automatic discipline. Again, consistency creates automatic discipline. One more time. Consistency creates automatic discipline. This is your path now. Not quick results, not instant change, but daily repetition. Because real transformation takes time, but once it's built, it lasts. So tomorrow morning and every morning after that, you don't rely on motivation. You rely on repetition. You follow your system. You execute your actions. You stay consistent, no matter what. Because from this moment forward, you are not the person who starts and stops. You are the person who repeats until it becomes automatic.
Listen carefully. This is where everything changes. All the habits, all the repetition, all the discipline you've been building, it leads here to one outcome. You become unbreakable. Not perfect, not emotionless, unbreakable. This means you don't stop when it's hard. You don't quit when it's uncomfortable. You don't collapse when life applies pressure, because pressure no longer controls you. It reveals you. And what it reveals is strength. Understand this. Life will test you. There will be days you're tired, days you're distracted, days you don't feel like doing anything. That will never change. What must change is your response. Because weak people wait for perfect conditions. Strong people act in imperfect ones. That is the difference. You are no longer controlled by mood, emotion, comfort, excuses. You are controlled by one thing: discipline. And discipline does not break. It does not negotiate. It does not hesitate. It does not quit. It executes.
no matter what. Say it. No matter what, I execute. Again, no matter what, I execute. This is your foundation now. Because being unbreakable is not about never feeling pain. It's about acting despite it. It's about showing up even when everything inside you says don't. It's about staying consistent when it would be easier to quit. That's what makes you different. That's what separates you. Most people break under pressure. They stop, they delay, they make excuses. But you move forward. Not because it's easy, but because it's who you are. You have trained this. Through your mornings, through your habits, through your repetition. You built this. Now you live it. Because discipline is no longer something you do, it is something you are. And that means nothing can shake you. Not failure, not discomfort, not doubt. Because your actions are no longer dependent on how you feel. They are locked in, automatic, unbreakable. Look back at who you were. Someone who delayed, someone who hesitated, someone who waited for the right moment. That version of you is gone, replaced by someone who acts immediately, consistently, relentlessly. That is your transformation. And now there is only one rule left. You do not go back. No matter what happens, no matter how you feel, no matter how hard it gets, you do not return to weakness. Because you know the truth now. Discipline is freedom. Freedom from excuses. Freedom from inconsistency. Freedom from regret. And once you taste that freedom, you never let it go. Repeat this. I am unbreakable. Again, I am unbreakable. One more time. I am unbreakable. This is your identity now. Not temporary, not situational, permanent. So tomorrow morning, and every morning after that, you wake up, you move, you execute, no matter what. Because from this moment forward, you are not the person who breaks under pressure. You are the person who becomes stronger because of it.
Now understand this clearly. Your life is not controlled by your goals. It is controlled by your daily habits. And your habits begin in the morning. Every day you wake up, you are given a choice. Stay weak, stay comfortable, stay average. Or stand up immediately, take control, execute without emotion. Discipline is not something you hope for. It is something you prove every single morning. No one is coming to fix your life. No one is coming to push you. It's you, your mind, your decisions, your discipline. So tomorrow morning, there is no snooze button. There is no delay. There is no negotiation. You wake up and you move. Because from this moment forward, you are no longer the person who waits. You are the person who acts. Now prove it.